of the first letter of Apostle Paul to young Timothy in chapter 1, verse 3. And then in 2 Timothy, his second letter, Apostle Paul penned this second letter to encourage faithfulness and Christian behavior. And he also warned Timothy to remain true to the Word of God. Now, likewise, to young Titus, he wrote Titus a letter instructing him as a young preacher to set order the things that were lacking in the church or in the congregation in the island of Crete. At yan po ay mababasa po natin sa Titus chapter 1, verse 1 to 5. Now, going back to our theme, there are a lot of instructions given to us, tayong mga tao, no? Specifically to us Christians. Particularly, God gave the New Testament to us. He mandated. Yan po yung ating constitution para sa ating kabuhayan bilang Kristiyano. Okay? Basic instruction before leaving earth. So, malamang, saan tayo pupunta? It could be, we have two choices. Either sa langit o sa impyerno. Okay? So, we strive to get to that direction to heaven. Okay? So, let's try to open our New Testament to 1 Timothy. So, the basic instructions, according to Apostle Paul, when he wrote the letters to Timothy and to Titus, is to, one, there are three items. O sabihin natin, para matandaan po natin, there are three P's. Okay? To the truth, or to the Word of God, or to our instructions, or spiritual instruction. Tatlong P's. One is to protect the truth, or to protect the Word of God. And the second one is to preach the truth, or the Word of God. And then lastly, the last P is to practice the truth, or the Word of God. Okay? In order to protect the Word of God, or to protect the truth, here in 1 Timothy chapter 1, okay, here in 1 Timothy chapter 1, we protect the Word of God, or we protect the truth through teaching. Okay, through teaching. Now, dito po mababasa natin yung reference to verse 1, the first 20 verses of chapter 1. The protection of the truth is through teaching the sound doctrine. Okay, we teach sound doctrine. We also protect the truth through proclamation of the gospel, or the good news, or the glad tidings about Jesus Christ. We also protect the truth through an active defense. Okay, we defend the truth from opposing errors. Okay, yung mga false teachers. Okay. Secondly, in protecting the truth, which is one of our instructions here on earth, is scriptural worship. Again, with reference to chapter 2, verse 1 to 15, okay, if we try to scan the verses, we would note that in protecting the truth, okay, let me turn to that passage. So here in chapter 2, actually, yung sinasabi po dito, there are instructions in public worship tulad ng ginagawa natin. But you would notice here in chapter 2 that particularly women, there has been controversial issues among women, no? Yung mga members of the church na mga kababaihan. Okay? You would observe that in some congregations in the churches of Christ, meron nang pumupunta ng mga kababaihan na nagtuturo sa harapan before the public or before the audience. And they would also lead songs before in front of men. Okay? But here, Apostle Paul instructed the members of the church, particularly Christian women. And we know that in somehow, the Christian women are always have been invaluable servants to the Lord's church. Okay? However, God has placed two limitations on Christian women. There are actually only two limitations para sa mga kababaihan. Okay? So this includes, number one, hindi po pwede na you would take publicly a leadership role in worship assemblies. Okay? Yun po ay mababasa po sa 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 8 and verse 15. And the second limitation is filing for an office of an elder or a deacon. Okay? Kaya merong ibang religious groups na tinatawag sa mga kababaihan, mga diakonesa. Okay? Mga ganun. Or they would lead, or they would lead the church. Okay? So those are two limitations sa mga kababaihan. So, when we try to struggle today with these kinds of limitations, although there are some congregations, there are some churches trying to implement this false teaching. But let us remember the admonition of Apostle Paul here in 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 37. Okay? Apostle Paul wrote, "Acknowledge that the things which I write to you are the commandments of the Lord." Okay? They are the commandments of the Lord. Yun po ang katotohanan. And we should protect this truth. Particularly in 1 Timothy chapter 2, through scriptural worship. Now we come to the third one. The third item. We protect the truth through scriptural leadership, and with reference to 1 Timothy chapter 3, the first 13 verses. Okay, let's try to move to the next chapter. Okay, sabi po ng Apostle Paul to young Timothy, this is actually about the qualifications of elders and deacons. But in connection with our lesson, it is said that there is no greater honor. No? There is no greater honor bestowed upon an individual than his being chosen to serve as an elder or deacon. Kaya tayo mga kalalakihan, no? In our development for our maturity, Christian maturity, siguro pag-isip-isipan po natin na we try to have this, or we try to desire this position. Okay, maganda po dahil utos po ito sa mga kalalakihan to become or to serve or to desire to become an elder or deacon. So in both offices, a man that is ordained by God is to lead, to protect, to feed, and to serve his family. Ano itong family na ito? He is to serve the household of God or the family of God. You can find that in 1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 15. So, therefore, let us try to resolve. Okay? Tayo mga kalalakihan. Let us try to resolve today to prepare ourselves, okay, to help prepare husbands, fathers, and sons to qualify and serve as special as servants in these roles of leadership. Okay? Maganda po yan. At hindi lang maganda, ito po ay utos sapagkat ito po ay katotohanan. Okay? So we are protecting the truth through scriptural leadership. Now, on the same chapter, let's go to the next one. Protecting the truth through doctrinal purity. So the next half would be starting from verse 14 up to the next chapter, which is chapter 4, verse 16. Okay, 1 Timothy chapter 3, 14, chapter 3, verse 14 up to chapter 4, verse 16. Okay, so it is here that we try to understand the importance of doctrinal purity. Okay, now, of course, mapapansin po natin, it is observed that there are religious errors. And religious error is an ever-present danger to the church. Okay? Because of false teaching and so on and so forth. And to avoid being victimized. Okay? In order to avoid being victimized by it, we must faithfully feed on and obey God's Word. Okay? Yan po ang katotohanan. That is the truth. And we will do well to heed heaven's admonition. Now, please turn to 1 John chapter 4, verse 1. 1 John chapter 4, verse 1. And Apostle Paul and Apostle John tells us, and he writes, okay, here, Beloved, do not believe every spirit. Okay? Do not believe every spirit, but test every spirits, whether they are from God. At sa ganitong pagbasa po natin, nakikita po natin, we try to observe na ang daming man-made commandments or man-made obligations to his fellow men. Okay? Maraming na-invento mga turo na nanggaling sa mismong tao. Okay? So, we need to protect the truth through doctrinal purity. So that is one basic instruction while we are here on earth. Number 5, protecting the truth through the treatment of others. How do we treat others? How do we treat our fellow men? Okay, so with reference to chapter 5, going forward, we move to chapter 5, actually up to chapter 6, verse 2. Okay? Now here is a study in these verses. How do we treat others in the church? Okay? When we treat others, we are also thereby protecting God's holy word. Because we are trying to follow God's instructions here in 1 Timothy, dito sa letter ni Apostle Paul. Now, ang key dito, the very key is our Christian attitudes. Ano yung kaugalian natin? Ano yung ugali natin bilang Kristiyano? Our attitudes toward those who make up the Lord's church. And we all observe, we all know that the Lord's Church is composed of different people. Merong mga matatanda dito. Sino matanda dito? There are older men, there are older women. Sino mga matatanda dito? Raise ang kamay. Walang umaamin. Si Manong Mindanao. Si ano? Okay? Younger men and women. Sino-sino sila? Of course, marami ng taas. Okay? And then we have also widows. Yung mga balo. Yung mga balo po dito. Marami rin, no? Okay? We have also leaders, etc., etc. And these groups of people, no, will greatly influence the growth of the church. So for this case, kayo, o tayo siguro, we would influence each other. And one result is that with the kind of influencing each other, doon makikita na the number, kung tayo ay lalago hindi. The church growth, numerically, even relationally, even our spiritual growth, makikita po natin sa ating mga attitudes o ating mga relasyon bawat isa. So, let us try to resolve. Okay? Again, naiisip ko yung New Year. Maraming resolution na naman. So, let us try to resolve to protect the church and her message by treating one another as God has instructed. Okay, so for example, here in chapter 5, when we talk about the work of benevolence, this is one of the greatest work, that is to look after the widows, to take care of them. Magandang trabaho po dito. Okay, about widows. And magagandang mga turo ni Apostle Pablo tungkol po dito, taking care of the widows. And even trying to show honor in case you have elders and deacons which you had before. Okay, sana mabuhayan ulit, no? Napaka-importante as a reminder that we show honor to elders. We could also rebuke them. Okay, di ba? We could also rebuke them if necessary. Kung medyo taliwas na sa salita ng Diyos. Okay? So these are the instruction of Apostle Paul to us. And then we come to the last point in protecting the truth or the Word of God. And another one is through godly living. Okay? Yung ating pang-araw-araw na pangkabuhayan. So here is chapter 6. Starting with verse 3 up to verse 21. Okay, so here is Apostle Paul trying to challenge us to live godly in a world that is ungodly. Now, siguro, I presume na we are godly, but we are living in a ungodly world. Okay, now, as Christians, we must be diligently strive to live godly. And you could read that in Titus chapter 2, verse 11 and 12. And then also we will fall victim to our great adversary, the devil. Okay, if we try to live ungodly. Okay, there are two kinds of people lang naman dito sa mundong ito. The godly and the ungodly. Okay? Now, however, as we try to be successful, to live godly in this present age, according to Titus chapter 12, we strive to live godly with the standards of God. So we can anticipate the sweet words of our Savior saying. What is Matthew chapter 25, verse 21 and verse 23? Ano sabi niya? With the goal of trying to live godly. We are striving, no? So siguro, in the end of our life, maaaring sabihin sa atin ng Panginoong Jesucristo na well done, good and faithful servant. So, ibig sabihin, you have done your job. You can come to my abode. You can come to my home. Itong langit na ito. Ayun. Okay? So, it is very important that we protect the truth through our godly living daily. Okay? So, another P, or the second P, na dapat nating tunghayan is preaching the truth. Okay? Another P is preaching the truth, or preaching the Word of God. Let's go to the second book, or the second letter of Apostle Paul to young Timothy. Now this time, we'll jump to chapter 2. Okay? Chapter 2. Now here in chapter 2, the first 26 verses, we preach the truth through positive example. Okay? So here is Apostle Paul trying to encourage young Timothy to exert his positive influence in our service to God. Okay? Now, if you try to go over this chapter, particularly chapter 2 of Apostle Paul's second letter to Timothy, you could see there the manifestation of a positive example. Okay? For example, verse 1 and 2. An example as a teacher. Verse 2, verses 3 and 4. As a focused soldier. Okay? So, usong-uso ngayon yung mga sundalo. Lalo na yung mga pulis. No? Yung mga nagsiservisyo po sa army. Very focused sila sa paglaban sa or kontra sa droga. Hindi po ba? Yun po yung trust ni Presidente Duterte. A positive example as a dedicated athlete. Okay? Dedicated athlete. You know what an athlete is? Okay? Sino yung mga atleta na nanalo? And because of their training, their hardship, their dedication, their discipline in training, nakakamit po sila ng award. Okay? And then, a positive example as a persevering farmer. Verse 6 to 13. A zealous workman. Verse 14 to 19. A sanctified vessel. Verse 20 to 23. And another metaphor would be probably as a gentle servant. And that is the last verses of 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 24 to 26. Okay, so we preach the truth through a positive example. Okay, now, here in this chapter 2, preaching the gospel, or preaching the Word of God, or preaching the sword of the Spirit is a sacred trust. Okay, napakahalaga po ito in our spiritual lives. 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 1 and 2. So, we try to let our light shine, no? As a child of God, and the child of God has a responsibility, okay, that has eternal consequences. So therefore, tayong mga anak ng Diyos, let us try to embrace our sacred trust to preach the gospel to every creature. Ngayon, ang tanong is, lahat ba, is it our responsibility? Yung full-time preacher, even to the youngest member of the church, responsibility ba natin to preach the gospel? The answer is yes. All members of the church, all Christians must have the responsibility to preach the Word of God, or to preach the truth. And to do it effectively, it is not only through oral proclamation. Yung tulad na ginagawa ko ngayon, salita ko ng salita, kayo naman nakikinig. But it is also through a positive example, yung ating buhay. nalalaman o nakikita ng ibang tao yung ginagawa mo. Maring may konting error siguro sa pagsasalita mo, pero napaka-importante yung buhay mo na nakikita nila. At yun ang tinutularan nila kung ikaw ay tunay na Kristiyano. Okay? And then the last point here in preaching the truth is we preach the truth through perilous times. Now we come to the last chapter of 2 Timothy. And this is an encouragement of Apostle Paul to us Christians to remain faithful during difficult times. Now, do you think that we are in difficult times today? Maybe perhaps, because one way or another, pag nadamay tayo pag nandun po tayo sa listahan ni Presidente Duterte, patay tayo. Baka makaso pa tayo, mahuli pa tayo, mapreso pa tayo, at baka maipapatay pa tayo. Hindi po ba? So, I would say that we are living in perilous times. So, chapter 3, verse 1 to 17. Okay? Someone has wrote by the name of John Gerstner, John Gerstner, and he wrote, sabi niya po na, if preachers insist on competing with psychiatrists as counselors, with politicians as statesmen, with philosophers as speculators, then these specialists have every right to tell preachers how to preach. If the minister's message is not based on thus saith the Lord, okay? Thus saith the Lord, then the message is good for nothing, but to be cast out and trodden under foot of specialists in the department with which it deals. So brothers and sisters in Christ, let us fight to resolve, okay? Let us fight to resolve to preach the word, to preach the truth. Be ready, according to verse 2 of chapter 4, be ready in season and out of season, convince, rebuke, and exhort with all long-suffering and teaching. Okay? Kahit delikado ang ating mundo ngayon, we need to continue, we need to preach the truth during these perilous times. Okay, so we come to the last P, which is practicing the truth. And I have only one, we have only one principle here. It is found in chapter 3 of Titus. Okay, Titus chapter 3, the first 15 verses. Okay, so again, if you try to read the full chapter or even the whole book of Titus, Apostle Paul's letter to Titus, you would observe that he is trying to encourage Titus sa island of Crete. Alam mo naman yung mga tao, if you try to look or try to search for who were those kind of Cretans, no? Napaka-masamang mga tao mga yan. It is a community of what? Liars, mga extortioners, etc., etc. So, Apostle Paul is saying to Timothy, to Titus, you have to practice the truth through application of good works. Because all around him, all around the congregation, it is full of bad items, bad works. Okay? Now, here in chapter 3, if we try to point out the lesson, there is a question here, no? How many by doing nothing, I think. Yan po ang turo ni Matthew chapter, in Matthew chapter 25, verse 24 to 27. So let us try to resolve to practice God's Word through the application of our good works. So, siguro, enough is enough about knowledge. Marami tayong nalalaman o marami na tayong nasasagip na principles or facts about the Bible. I hope so. Or knowledge about the Bible. But we need to apply. And that is where wisdom comes in. So, dapat mag-match ito. Knowledge and wisdom. We get knowledge from the Word of God. We get truth. However, in our daily lives, we need also to apply the Word of God. We need to apply it through good works. Okay? So, dyan po nagtatapos yung ating leksyon ngayong umaga. So, as a summary, okay, there's somebody who said this thought, no? Or this quotation. Bible. When we were kids, alam ko na you remember the song, Bible. The book is just for me. What was the next verse? I stand alone. The Word of God, the Bible. Okay, you know that, no? So, sabi ko dito, yung Bible, it stands for Basic Instructions Before Leaving Earth. Okay? So, itong title, yung ating tema, okay, for the whole month, indicates that we are here. Nandito po tayo ngayon in order to prepare for what is next. So, ano yung susunod? Okay? Ano yung susunod? Of course, our goal is heaven. Ano ang gagawin natin sa langit? Before that, we need to prepare ourselves here on earth as we are breathing, as we are still living here on earth. Okay, so the title indicates that we are here to prepare for what is next. The faith of our spirit is determined by what we do in this lifetime. So let's try to maintain a proper perspective while we are here. So, going back again to the first part, okay, marami pong instructions na dapat natin malaman at dapat natin i-apply. Again, the 3 P's. Kailangan natin i-protect ang salita ng Diyos. Kailangan natin i-bahagi ang salita ng Diyos. Kailangan natin i-practice ang salita ng Diyos sa ating sarili at ipamahagi sa ibang tao. Those who are lost, who do not know the Word of God. Okay? So let us again protect, let us preach, and let us practice the truth, which is the Word of God. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pakinig.